Julia Carpenter, also known as Madem Web, shows that she can see through the Spider-Verse. But right now, all of them are struggling against the powers of Shathra. We are witnessing an event in Earth 44145. At Oscorp Plaza, the Spider Biodroid and Spider-Rex are attacking the place. The Spider Biodroid shouts, "Osborn, show yourself. Hiding in your tower won't save you." This version of Norman Osborn has 6 arms, unlike the usual Norman Osborn. He knows that the security won't be enough to stop them. He asks Spider-Man to hand him a canister. Norman commands Spider-Man to distract them. Spider-Man responds, "Norm, they have a dinosaur. I'm just a bunch of bugs in a suit. I won't last a second." And Norman replies, "Good, an extra second is all I need." The Spider Biodroid and Rex rush towards Norman's door, destroying everything in their path. The Spider Biodroid calls out to Norman, "I know you, Osborn. You're the same on every world. All you care about is winning. Join our side and you'll finally be on the winning team." They finally reach the doors of Norman's laboratory, and Spider-Man is there to stop them. He taunts them saying, "There are only 2 of you, and I am made out of thousands of bugs. You're outnumbered, so feel free to give up anytime." Before Spider-Man finishes speaking, the Spider Biodroid blasts him, reducing him into ashes instantly. As Spider-Rex opens the door, Norman declares, "You're too late. A dinosaur, a killer biodroid. Shathra, if you can hear me, you should have sent more. You see, I know what you were really after, and I have sent it somewhere you will never find." The Spider Biodroid doubts Norman's claim, as they can easily make him reveal where he has sent it after turning him to their side. Norman responds, "That's not happening because you were right before. I like winning." Norman Osborn, the Spider-Man of this world, is going out as a winner. He triggers the bomb, causing a massive explosion that kills them all. Julia was caught off guard by the situation. She had a plan to rescue the Spider-Verse, and she needed the Spider-Man from that particular Earth. However, she kept this plan a secret from everyone, including her close allies, Aranya and Spider UK, because Shathra has spies everywhere. Julia discloses that all their plans are failing. They are becoming separated and losing their allies along the way, including the Chosen One. This is why she can't see the future anymore, because there doesn't seem to be a future. The only thing left is Shathra. Back on Earth 616, Anya and Night Spider are still engaged in the battle against the numerous Shathra-controlled Spider-Men that emerge from the portal. Night Spider comes up with an idea. She purposely triggers the final trap to help them escape. She takes the spider ball she created, which the statue was holding, and activates the trap. Boulders rain down from the sky, striking the swarm as Anya and Night Spider makes their getaway. Night Spider asks Anya to open a portal so they can flee, but Anya refuses, not wanting to leave the place empty-handed. They continue running deeper into the temple and deliberately set off all the traps they have avoided on their way in. Anya reveals that the temple holds more than just treasure. She points to the carvings saying, "They are written in a language I can understand. There's something we need here. I can sense it." The carvings speak about the Chosen One and what they must do. However, Night Spider convinces Anya that there is no longer anything left for them to find, as Spider-Man of Earth 616 has already unraveled, erased from the web of life. Anya gives in and finally opens a portal for them to escape. In Loom World, Miles and Hunter Spider embark on their journey towards Shathra's throne room. They kept a close watch on Shathra as she talks to Nestling. Hunter Spider suggests attacking Shathra while the hive is away, but Miles is unsure because they aren't strong enough together to confront her. Shathra unknowingly reveals that the so-called Chosen One, Peter Parker from Earth 616, is already deceased and nothing can prevent her from achieving her goals. This infuriates Miles, and without thinking twice, he leaps towards Shathra and delivers an electric shock. Miles gave it his all in the attack, but it proves insufficient to defeat Shathra. Shathra remains unharmed and mocks Miles, stating that his powers are insignificant, especially against a god like her. However, Shathra is perplexed and curious about why Miles, despite being turned, can still retain control over his body. It is due to this curiosity that Shathra decides to keep Miles alive. On Earth 616 Beta, Julia is overjoyed by Spider UK's return. In their excitement, they completely forgot their own Earth has its own Spider-Man. Spider UK announces that they have found their secret weapon and they have convinced him to assist them. Julia expresses her disappointment saying, "As good as it may be, he is not Peter Parker. Parker was the only one destined to save us. I have seen it in my visions, and I know it to be true. But now, every Peter Parker from every Earth has been killed, corrupted, or undone. No other Spider will suffice." And Spider-Man jokes, "Thanks for the vote of confidence." At Loom World, Spider-Man 2099 and Spider-Girl transport Miles to his prison. They securely handcuff him to a wall. As Miles examines his surroundings, he sees a peculiar group of Spider-Men. One of them explains that this is the place where Shathra keeps spiders she cannot transform into wasps. At Earth 616, the spiders and Morlun have surrounded Spintress. They are pressuring her to disclose the whereabouts of the dagger. However, she reveals that her friends have already made good use of it. Spintress attempts to attack her spider sidekick, but Webweaver saves him. As Spintress begins to dance, Silk intervenes and swiftly knocks her unconscious. Silk explains that her intention was solely to cut off Shatra's live feed as she can see through her eyes. Morlun jokingly mentioned that he has a permanent solution for that problem, but his tone suggests he's not joking at all. He lunges towards Spintress, but Silk manages to restrain him and prevent him from harming her. In the midst of the escalating situation, two portal opens behind Webweaver. Anya and Night Spider emerge from the portal, sharing what happened in the temple, how they lost the totem, and Peter Parker. Morlun comments in the grand scheme of things, that man was irreplaceable. Just as Morlun finishes his sentence, Spider UK and Julia came out of another portal and revealed that they have brought someone who might be capable of stepping into Parker's shoes. They introduce Peter Palmer, the original prototype, and the Amazing Spider-Man. In another part of town, at Oscorp Plaza, Norman Osborn has obtained the stolen equipment from the truck. He instructs his team to quickly assemble and activate the device. While they are in the process of building the device and preparing to flip the switch, they receive a mysterious canister that arrived from Earth 44145. Inside the canister, they find a web. A mysterious scientist examines it. Surprisingly, the scientist's name is Peter Parker. Considering the disappearance of Peter Parker from Earth 616 in the Web of Life, let's explore what might have occurred if he hadn't been bitten by a radioactive spider. We observe a spider coming down from above, passing by some equipment that supercharges it. It continues its descent towards Peter, but he shields his eyes as it becomes too bright. Consequently, the spider misses its intended landing spot and instead falls on the floor. The spider climbs up a woman's leg and bites her. Immediately, the lady experiences a headache and steps outside to get some fresh air. Later at home, Peter is occupied with creating a report based on what he had learned from the exhibit. Aunt May and Uncle Ben came to visit him in his room and brings him some crackers and milk. The following day at school, Peter presents his report, but everyone seems incredibly bored and annoyed with him. After class, Peter accidentally bumps into Flash, who is also furious with him because of his report. Flash confronts Peter, blaming him for making everyone else look bad. In response, Peter reports, "Yeah, well, it's not my fault if you struggle with anything that requires more brain power than throwing football." This remark triggers Flash, causing him to push Peter forcefully, causing him to fall to the ground. Peter finds himself on the verge of a physical confrontation when the principal intervenes and interrupts the situation. Flash quickly lies, claiming that he was merely assisting Peter. Peter acknowledges the full story as an alibi and decides to move on from the incident. Back at home, Aunt May and Uncle Ben gives Peter a new microscope as he continues his research. While watching the news, they see Jonah Jameson being interviewed about the mysterious new Spider-Woman. Jameson dismisses it as a hoax and a scam, a sentiment that Aunt May and Uncle Ben shares. Suddenly, a mysterious man forcefully kicks open the door. The intruder brandishes a gun and demands that everyone stay still. Uncle Ben selflessly asks the robber to direct the gun at him and take whatever he desires. In a brave gesture, Peter offers his new microscope, causing the robber to point the gun at him. The robber commands Peter not to make any sudden moves and join the others. Aunt May shouts not to point the gun at Peter, which agitates the robber. He then aims the gun at Aunt May. In a split second, Peter lunges at the robber who quickly shoots him. Uncle Ben reacts swiftly and overpowers the robber, delivering a beating in the process. Though weakened by the gunshot, Peter remains alive. Aunt May urgently instructs Uncle Ben to call an ambulance. Eventually, the robber is arrested and Peter is transported by the ambulance to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctor reassures Aunt May and Uncle Ben that Peter will be alright, but his right leg may never fully recover. Peter undergoes rehab. Peter diligently works on his recovery and is able to walk again in no time. Finally, Peter finds himself back at school. If he was already an outcast before, now he is like a wounded animal among the others. He quietly thinks to himself, "Maybe if I just keep my head down, no one will notice me." However, before he can even finish his thought, a random person trips Peter, causing him to fall to the ground. The person then proceeds to insult him and laugh at him. Suddenly, someone from the back shouts, "That's enough! From now on, Parker is off limits, you hear me?" The person grabs the offender, Jason, and slams him against the lockers. And who is Peter's new unexpected best friend? It's none other than Flash. Flash is highly impressed by Peter's action and gains respect for him. Flash hypes up the crowd, proclaiming Peter as the biggest hero, and the crowd starts chanting Peter's name. Now, Peter sits with the popular kids. They invited him to a pep rally taking place that evening. Later that night, they came to pick up Peter from his home. Aunt May requests they bring him back at a reasonable hour, to which Flash playfully replies, "No promises, Mrs. P." At school, Peter and Flash were having a chat when the professor made an announcement. Suddenly, Sandman forcefully smashes open the door. In that moment, Parker has a flashback of what happened to him. However, the principal stands up to Sandman, declaring, "I won't hear of it. These children are under my care. All of you, go, call the police, I'll keep him busy." Flash gets excited and urges the students to attack Sandman together. But just as they prepare, Silk swoops in and delivers a powerful kick to Sandman, leaving a lasting impact. They continue their fight while the students escape outside the school. The police arrives accompanied by John and Jameson, who start shouting insults at Silk. Peter, not tolerating it, yells, "She was saving us from Sandman." However, Jonah counters with disbelief and claiming that the two of them are probably in cahoots. One of the students points to the roof, where Silk has already captured and contains Sandman inside a vacuum cleaner. Later that night, Flash and Peter have a group study session to prepare for exams. However, Peter is distracted as he works on his scrapbook about Silk. Flash reveals that Peter is Silk's #1 fan and suggests that, with his intelligence, he could assist Silk in better ways than just being a fan. This sparks an idea in Peter's head, and he starts creating new devices that could potentially aid Silk in her battles. Aunt May and Uncle Ben are proud of Peter. He has bounced back from the incident and even made new friends. Peter is busy building web shooters, spider tracers, and a device that can communicate with Silk. As he activates the device, Silk's spider sense tingles. Peter says, calling Silk, "Meet me on the roof of Midtown High at 10 tonight. Trust me, you won't want to miss this." Over. Silk is shocked to receive such a message and wonders who could have sent it. Finally, they meet on the school roof. Peter introduces himself as a student and thanks Silk for saving him and his classmates. He offers his services and the gadgets he created to Silk. One of the gadgets is a magnetic inverter that can short-circuit the vulture's wings. Silk is impressed and sees the value in using it in future battles. Silk is curious about Peter's intentions. Peter replies, "I saw the way Jameson was bullying you. I've been on the receiving end too. But one day, at my lowest, the last person I expected gave me his hand and helped me up. I want to be that person for you." They shake hands and Silk says, "Looks like I just got myself an IT guy. Welcome to Team Silk." Finally, Silk is out fighting multiple villains, showcasing the gadgets Peter created for her. These gadgets have definitely made her battles much easier. Silk takes photo of her heroic deeds and sells them to Jameson, which help funds the creation of these fancy gadgets. It also gains her new fans along the way. Flash excitedly hands Peter a newspaper with the headline, "Craven Captured," and exclaims, "Man, Peter was right, she's awesome." Overall, it's a win-win situation for Peter Parker as well. With a little tinkering, he was able to repurpose his Silk technologies and present them as first-place prizes at local and national science fairs. This catches the attention of an Oscorp employee, who congratulates Peter and suggests, "I know someone you should talk to about your future." Finally, the day of graduation arrives and everything that has transpired in Peter's life has led up to this moment. He graduates like any other student, surrounded by family and friends. Jason even congratulates Peter for being their valedictorian, to which Peter playfully responds, "Thanks Jason, but it was tough for a while. Flash here almost took my spot." Flash retorts, "Cut it out, you goon." Aunt May and Uncle Ben both congratulate Peter and Flash for receiving full athletic scholarships and scientific fellowship grants. They're incredibly proud of their achievements. Aunt May asks Flash to promise that he will look after their nephew at Empire State. Flash jokingly replies, "You got it, Mrs. P. I'll make sure my roomie here eats all his greens." Suddenly, a mysterious man interrupts saying, "I hope you survive." It turns out to be none other than Norman Osborn, who continues, "Because after that, I hope Oscorp can get whatever's left." Peter can't believe his eyes. Norman Osborn is present. Norman congratulates Peter for winning the Oscorp scholarship and mentioned that he will be personally monitoring Peter's progress. Peter expresses his gratitude saying, "You've been more than generous, sir. I just hope that someday I'll be able to find a way to pay you back." Moving forward, Peter has graduated from college and now holds the title of Employee of the Month at Oscorp. Norman enters the facility and returns the stolen tech that the robbers had taken. Peter reveals that the tech wouldn't have been recovered if he hadn't tipped off Silk about the incident. In this timeline, Silk, instead of Peter Parker as Spider-Man, was there to save the day and apprehend the hijackers. Osborn commands Peter to finish setting up the device before the end of the day. Peter is ecstatic to be working on such an advanced technology and considers himself the luckiest person alive to witness scientific advancements every day. The device has the potential to greatly benefit the world by transporting objects across vast distances, maybe even to other dimensions. Peter turns on the receiver device and suddenly a canister appears right before his eyes. He is shocked by what this item could be, since the sender device is not yet activated. As he looks closely at the canister, he notices that the spider have formed themselves into the word help. This triggers Peter to immediately contact Silk. In Loom World, Shathra gathers her swarm and proudly declares that she has almost conquered all the spiders in the Spider-Verse. She summons Nestling to inform her about the remaining dimensions not yet part of her hive. However, Nestling reveals that she can no longer discern this information as the web of life and destiny has been completely transformed into Shathra's grand nest. Shathra dismisses Nestling and uses her own powers, relishing in this long-awaited moment. She boasts about how every protector of the Great Web has either fallen, joined her side, or failed in their mission. The Chosen One has even wiped out of existence, and the beloved Spider-Verse now belongs to her. Shathra proclaims her intention to control and reshape the Spider-Verse as she desires. She declares an end to the chaotic threads of the multiverse, claiming that her gift to all will be unity. There will be one world, one hive, one mind. All will bow before Shathra. Back at Oscorp Plaza in Earth 616, Peter Parker continues to call Silk, but she doesn't answer. The spiders inside the canister form the question, "Any luck?" Peter responds, no, she's not picking up. Uncle Ben and Aunt May calls Peter and invites him for dinner. Suddenly, a powerful earthquake shakes the area. Peter looks out his window while the other spiders on top of a building witnesses colossal roots from Loom World emerging from a portal into Earth 616. All the spiders gather on top of a building in New York. Julia reveals that she has a plan, but they are missing crucial pieces. Morlun exclaims, "If we still had that blasted totem dagger, we could have enacted my plan." Night Spider supports the idea of stabbing Shathra with the totem dagger. Anya is confused as to why Night Spider likes the idea, and Night Spider jokes that she actually has the totem dagger. Anya asks, "Where do you get that?" Night Spider replies, "What? This valuable antique treasure? It was just lying there on the floor of that temple, a few feet from Earth 194's greatest thief." Anya claims she didn't see Night Spider take it, and Night Spider jokingly responds, "Yeah, because I'm good." Silk interrupts, expressing disbelief that she is about to say this, but she thinks they should go with Morlun's plan. Julia reveals that she hasn't seen a future where a plan like that succeeds, and is against it. Suddenly, a portal opens behind Julia, and Hunter Spider emerges from it. They were all searching for Miles. Hunter Spider reveals that Miles has been captured and imprisoned along with other spiders who Shathra can convert. He knows the location and requires reinforcement to free them. Silk decides to take the lead and commands Hunter Spider and some of the spiders to rescue the captured ones. Meanwhile, Silk and their Chosen One will attempt Morlun's idea. Julia interrupts, stating that Palmer is not the Chosen One, as it was only Peter Parker and now he's gone. Peter Parker's feelings are hurt as he yells, "Hey!" Silk is puzzled by Julia's statement that Peter Parker is gone when Peter Parker has been endlessly trying to reach her. Julia asks Anya how this is possible. Anya reveals that only his Spider-Man side was removed from the Great Web, and not Peter Parker himself. Finally, Silk asks Webweaver for his costume-making skills, as she will need them. In Loom World, Shathra reveals that her nest is nearly complete. Suddenly, a portal opens, and Spider-Man Noir and Spintras enter, bringing Morlun and Anya with them as prisoners. Both Morlun and Anya have been captured and presented to Shathra. Morlun whispers, "You are pathetic, the both of you." Unbeknownst to Shathra, Sun Spider is actually disguised as Spider-Man Noir while Silk is wearing the Spinner's costume. Spider-Man Noir continues to speak, attempting to impress Shathra. Shathra is confused because both Noir and Spinner's are part of her hive, but she cannot see into their minds. Spider-Gwen also shares her suspicion that Spinner's is the one who is always singing. This prompts Silk to sing terribly, really bad, causing great discomfort to the wasp-controlled spiders. Morlun grew impatient and couldn't believe they came up with such a lame plan. Anya opened a new portal and Peter Palmer emerges from it. Shathra couldn't believe her eyes. "This is impossible," she yelled. He was undone. There was no way to bring him back. She commanded her swarm to attack Spider-Man. Spider-Man seized the opportunity to demonstrate his skills and fought back against the swarm. Eventually, Morlun managed to free himself from the webs and shouted Shathra's name as he stabbed her with the totem dagger. Morlun exclaimed, "You are free to die, witch. Free to be served from the Great Web. To be removed from reality itself." There was a moment of silence as Shathra asked, "Did you actually think that would work?" Meanwhile, Hunter Spider, Julia, and Night Spider sneaks into the prison. They catch the two guards off guard and Hunter Spider shoots darts at them, knocking them out. Julia reveals that the prisoners are the incorruptible and will be the last line of defense. Miles interrupts Julia as the spider mobile gave him an idea. There are a couple more spiders they could recruit. Julia hands him a portal device and Miles asks for some time to gather reinforcements. Miles and the spider mobile is set off to get more backup, while the rest of the spiders rushes back to help their comrades fighting Shathra. Shathra reveals that the spider totem only works on spiders as she punches Morlun to the ground. Their plan has failed and their cover-up has been exposed. Silk commands everyone to help Morlun as he is still their strongest fighter. Shathra can't believe that the spiders believe in the myth of the inheritors, the all-powerful psychic vampires who feed on spider totems. She reveals that they were totem themselves, the lowest of them all, the totems of the leech. They feasted on spiders to steal their powers and access to the web of life. All this time, they were nothing more than slugs, parasites with delusions of grandeur. As the few remaining spiders on the scene try to stop Shathra from attacking Morlun, she proves too powerful for them. She bangs the head of Anya and Webweaver together. Shathra mocks them saying, "What do you have? A small handful of heroes? A false savior?" Spider Palmer falls to the ground, badly beaten by Shathra's swarm. Shathra then goes after Silk, declaring, "And you, little girl, the fabled bride of spiders, I expect a little more. But you have failed me, just as you have failed your friends. This fake Peter Parker and the real Peter Parker of your world." She holds Silk's weakened body and proclaims, "I am omniscient now. I see everything and I will destroy him." At Oscorp Plaza, Spider UK is amazed at how Peter was able to obtain a segment of the Web of Life and Destiny. Peter explained that this is likely from a different dimension, the opposite of those toxic strands in the sky. Peter believes he can create a device for Silk to use that can heal their atmosphere. Suddenly, a portal opens and two sword-wielding wasp spiders emerges to confront Peter. Sun Spider easily fends them off, showcasing his strength and skill. Peter is in awe of Sun Spider's abilities, despite his disability. This greatly inspires Peter, and he proclaims, "That Sun Spider is truly sensational." Back at Loomworld, Shathra throws Silk into her swarm for them to feed on. Suddenly, a portal opens, and Julia, Night Spider, Hunter Spider, and the rest of the imprisoned spider emerges, ready to fight. Anya, Morlun, and Silk find themselves on the ground, with the totem dagger right beside them. Anya says, "There's always hope as long as one of us is standing. So get up, we can still fight." But Morlun refuses, saying, "No, I have been defeated, humiliated. I'm done. I have nothing left except my hunger. I must feed. And I have always wondered what the bride of the spiders tastes like. How many times did you stop me from devouring our enemy's child? It is only fitting that you be my final meal." Silk yells no as she grabs the totem dagger and slashes Morlun's arm. They are all amazed at what they saw. Something blazing emerges from Morlun's arm. He is not undone like the others. Anya reveals that the carvings on the totem dagger matches those at the temple. They have been calling Silk the bride of spiders all this time, but they have translated it wrong. In the language of the totems, a bride of spiders is their queen. Anya exclaimed, "It's you, Cindy Moon. You are the chosen one." Shathra reveals that the light emanating from Morlun's wound is damaging the very structure of her nest. Silk understands that this is actually restoring them, and now she knows exactly what to do next. She begins slashing Morlun, freeing more of the spiders trapped inside him. Anya reveals every spider Morlun has ever consumed, millions of totems, they are restoring the Great Web. No, more than restoring, they are reweaving it. This could be a new reality, a complete reset. Every spider Morlun has ever consumed has been freed. With a big white explosion, the comic ends. To be continued. If you're looking for something else to watch, you can check this video right here.